My name is Elena Martinez. I'm 31 years old, and I never imagined that the app my brother dismissed as a complete waste of time and money would become the centerpiece of a $50 million acquisition offer that would have his own boss calling me personally to discuss partnership opportunities. What began as a family dinner where I was ridiculed for chasing unrealistic dreams became the launching pad for a journey that would prove sometimes the people closest to you are the least equipped to see your true potential. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you. The foundation of my story begins in the bustling tech hub of Austin, Texas, where I had spent the better part of my 20s building what most people would consider a successful career in software development. After graduating with honors from the University of Texas with a degree in computer science and applied mathematics, I had secured a position at Nexus Digital Solutions, a mid-sized technology consulting firm that specialized in creating custom software applications for enterprise clients across various industries. My role as a senior software engineer provided both intellectual stimulation and financial stability that exceeded the expectations I had held during my college years. The work involved collaborating with diverse teams to analyze complex business requirements, architect scalable software solutions, and implement robust applications that could handle the demanding operational needs of Fortune 500 companies. The technical challenges were substantial, requiring expertise in multiple programming languages, database management systems, cloud computing platforms, and emerging technologies that constantly evolved within the rapidly changing landscape of enterprise software development. The compensation package at Nexus Digital was competitive within the Austin technology market, providing a base salary supplemented by performance bonuses, comprehensive health benefits, and equity participation that offered potential long-term financial growth aligned with company success. The professional environment encouraged continuous learning through conference attendance, certification programs, and internal training initiatives that kept our technical skills current with industry best practices and emerging technological trends. My colleagues represented some of the most talented software professionals in the region, individuals who had been recruited from prestigious universities and leading technology companies to form development teams capable of delivering solutions that met the exacting standards of demanding enterprise clients. The collaborative culture fostered knowledge sharing, peer mentoring, and cross-functional cooperation that enhanced both individual capabilities and collective project outcomes. The office environment at Nexus Digital reflected the modern technology workspace aesthetic that had become synonymous with innovative software companies. Open floor plans encouraged spontaneous collaboration, while private meeting rooms provided spaces for focused technical discussions and client consultations. Multiple monitor setups, high-performance workstations, and state-of-the-art development tools created an environment optimized for productivity and creative problem-solving. Beyond the immediate professional benefits, my position at Nexus Digital provided access to influential networks within the Austin technology ecosystem. Industry meetups, professional associations, and client relationships offered opportunities to connect with entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and technology executives whose experiences and insights could prove valuable for future career development and potential entrepreneurial ventures. My personal life during these years reflected the priorities and lifestyle typical of ambitious young professionals in competitive technology markets. The demanding project schedules and client commitments required significant time and energy investments that often extended beyond traditional business hours. Weekend work sessions and evening troubleshooting calls were common occurrences that demonstrated dedication to client success while limiting availability for social activities and personal relationships. The condominium I had purchased in downtown Austin represented both a personal milestone and a strategic investment in the city's rapidly appreciating real estate market. The modern amenities, urban conveniences, and proximity to both work and recreational activities provided an ideal living situation for someone focused primarily on professional advancement and career development. The monthly mortgage payments, while substantial, were manageable within my current income level and represented progress toward building long-term wealth through property ownership. Financial planning during this period followed conventional wisdom regarding wealth accumulation for technology professionals. Retirement account contributions were maximized to take advantage of employer matching programs and tax benefits. Investment portfolios were diversified across asset classes to balance growth potential with risk management. Emergency funds provided security against unexpected expenses while maintaining liquidity for potential opportunities that might require immediate capital access. However, beneath the surface of this apparently successful professional trajectory, I was experiencing a growing sense of restlessness and unfulfilled potential that seemed to intensify rather than diminish as my career progressed. The projects I worked on, while technically challenging and financially rewarding, felt increasingly disconnected from any meaningful impact on real human problems or significant innovations that could create lasting positive change in people's lives. The enterprise software solutions we developed served important business functions for our clients, streamlining operations, improving efficiency, and reducing costs in ways that generated substantial value for organizations and their stakeholders. Yet the end users of these systems were typically corporate employees, whose daily work experiences were only marginally improved by the technical sophistication we invested months developing and implementing. Evening hours and weekends, when freed from the immediate demands of client projects and development deadlines, I found myself gravitating toward personal coding projects that explored ideas and possibilities that extended beyond the constrained requirements of enterprise software development. These experimental applications allowed me to investigate emerging technologies, implement creative user interface designs, and explore problem domains that generated genuine excitement and intellectual curiosity. One particular area that captured my sustained attention was the intersection of technology and personal wellness, specifically the challenge of helping individuals develop and maintain healthy lifestyle habits through intelligent software applications that could provide personalized guidance, motivation, and progress tracking. The existing mobile applications in this space seem to approach wellness as a series of disconnected activities, rather than understanding the complex psychological and behavioral factors that determined long-term success in health and fitness endeavors. My background in computer science provided technical capabilities for building sophisticated applications, while my own experiences with fitness challenges, nutrition planning, and stress management offered insights into the real-world obstacles that prevented people from achieving their wellness goals. The combination of technical skills and personal understanding suggested an opportunity to create something genuinely innovative that could provide meaningful value to users struggling with similar challenges. The initial concept that began forming during my evening coding sessions centered around an intelligent wellness companion application that would learn individual user patterns, preferences, and constraints to provide highly personalized recommendations for nutrition, exercise, sleep optimization, and stress management. Rather than offering generic advice or one-size-fits-all programs, the application would adapt continuously based on user feedback, progress tracking, and changing life circumstances to maintain relevance and effectiveness over time. The technical architecture I envisioned would incorporate machine learning algorithms that could analyze user behavior patterns to identify successful strategies and potential obstacles before they became problematic. Natural language processing capabilities would enable conversational interactions that felt supportive and encouraging rather than robotic or impersonal. Integration with wearable devices and health monitoring systems would provide objective data to complement subjective user reports and self-assessments. What distinguished this concept from existing wellness applications was the focus on understanding and addressing the psychological factors that typically caused people to abandon healthy lifestyle changes after initial enthusiasm faded. The application would provide adaptive motivation strategies, personalized accountability systems, and intelligent intervention techniques that could help users navigate the inevitable challenges and setbacks that accompanied any significant behavioral change process. Family gatherings during this period provided regular opportunities to share updates about my professional progress and personal interests with relatives who had supported my educational and career development since childhood. My parents, Maria and Carlos Martinez, had immigrated to the United States from Mexico, with limited financial resources, but unwavering commitment to providing educational opportunities for their children that would enable upward mobility and professional success. Their own sacrifices and achievements served as constant inspiration for my educational and career pursuits. My father had worked multiple jobs while attending night school to earn an accounting degree, eventually establishing a small but successful tax preparation and bookkeeping business that served the growing Hispanic community in Austin. My mother had completed her nursing education while raising 3 children, becoming a respected intensive care unit supervisor at a major Austin hospital, where her bilingual capabilities and cultural sensitivity provided crucial support for diverse patient populations. The success they had achieved through determination, education, and professional excellence established high expectations for their children's accomplishments, while providing practical models for overcoming obstacles and building meaningful careers. Their pride in my technology career was evident during family celebrations and social gatherings, where they introduced me to friends and extended family members as their daughter who works with computers for big companies. My older brother David represented a different pathway to professional success within the family structure. After completing his MBA from Rice University, he had joined the corporate finance division of Sterling Industries, a diversified manufacturing conglomerate with operations across multiple states and international markets. His role as Director of Strategic Planning involved analyzing potential acquisitions, evaluating market expansion opportunities, and developing financial models that supported major corporate investment decisions. David's career trajectory followed a more traditional and predictable path compared to the technology sector, with clearly defined advancement opportunities, established performance metrics, and compensation structures that provided transparency regarding future earning potential. His success within Sterling Industries had earned recognition from senior leadership and positioned him for continued advancement toward executive roles that would bring increased responsibilities and financial rewards. The contrast between David's conventional corporate career and my technology focus sometimes created tension during family discussions about professional priorities and long-term planning. His perspective emphasized stability, predictability, and systematic advancement within established organizational structures, while my interests increasingly gravitated toward innovation, entrepreneurship, and the creation of novel solutions to complex problems. My younger sister Carmen had chosen to pursue a career in elementary education, following our mother's emphasis on service-oriented professions that contributed directly to community welfare and social improvement. Her dedication to teaching in underserved school districts reflected family values regarding social responsibility and the importance of using professional capabilities to benefit others who faced economic and social challenges. Family dinner conversations typically focused on sharing professional updates, celebrating individual achievements, and offering mutual support for challenges and opportunities that emerged within our respective career paths. These gatherings provided emotional connection and practical advice, while reinforcing shared values regarding hard work, education, and commitment to excellence that had characterized our family culture since childhood. However, as my interest in developing the wellness application concept intensified during evening and weekend coding sessions, I began to sense that family members, particularly David, viewed these activities as distractions from my established career rather than potential foundations for future opportunities. The suggestion that I might consider leaving my secure position at Nexus Digital to pursue entrepreneurial ventures was met with concern about financial stability and professional risk-taking that seemed unnecessary, given my current success. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. The autumn of that year brought several developments that would prove pivotal in my decision-making process regarding the wellness application concept and my long-term career direction. A major client project at Nexus Digital had been completed successfully, earning recognition from both client leadership and internal management, while providing a sense of accomplishment regarding technical capabilities and project management skills. Yet rather than feeling satisfied with this professional achievement, I found myself increasingly drawn to the possibilities represented by my personal coding projects and the potential impact that innovative wellness technology could have on helping people improve their health and quality of life. The contrast between working on enterprise software that optimized business processes and developing applications that could directly benefit individual users' well-being became increasingly apparent and motivationally significant. The financial security provided by my position at Nexus Digital created both opportunity and constraint regarding entrepreneurial risk-taking. The steady income, comprehensive benefits, and predictable advancement path provided safety and comfort that made leaving difficult to justify from purely rational perspectives. However, the same security that eliminated immediate financial pressure also enabled experimentation with new ideas and projects that could potentially lead to more meaningful and impactful work. Market research into the wellness technology sector revealed both encouraging trends and significant competitive challenges that would need to be addressed for any new application to achieve commercial success. The market size was substantial and growing rapidly as consumers increasingly sought technology solutions for health and fitness challenges. However, the market was also crowded with numerous applications offering similar functionality, making differentiation and user acquisition particularly challenging for new entrants. The technical feasibility of implementing the intelligent wellness companion concept appeared achievable given current technology capabilities and development tools. Machine learning frameworks had become sophisticated enough to enable personalized recommendation systems, while cloud computing platforms provided scalable infrastructure for applications that needed to process large amounts of user data and deliver real-time responses. User experience design principles that I had studied and applied in enterprise software development could be adapted to create consumer applications that prioritized ease of use, visual appeal, and engagement factors that determined whether users would continue using applications beyond initial download and trial periods. The challenge would be balancing sophistication with simplicity to create functionality that was powerful enough to provide genuine value while remaining accessible to users who were not technology experts. As the year progressed toward the holiday season, I found myself spending increasingly long hours working on prototype development for the wellness application, testing different user interface approaches, experimenting with machine learning algorithms, and refining the core functionality that would distinguish the application from existing alternatives in the marketplace. The evening hours after completing my responsibilities at Nexus Digital became dedicated time for pursuing this personal project that was evolving from casual experimentation into serious consideration of commercial viability and potential business opportunity. The excitement and engagement I felt during these development sessions contrasted sharply with the routine satisfaction of my regular employment, highlighting the possibility that entrepreneurial pursuits might provide greater long-term fulfillment than continued advancement within established corporate structures. By December, I had developed a functional prototype of the wellness application that demonstrated the core concepts I had been exploring during months of evening and weekend development work. The application could analyze user input regarding health goals, current habits, and lifestyle constraints to generate personalized recommendations for incremental improvements that could be sustained over time, rather than requiring dramatic behavioral changes that typically proved unsustainable. The machine learning components were beginning to show promising results in adapting recommendations based on user feedback and progress tracking, suggesting that the personalization concepts I had envisioned were technically feasible and potentially valuable for users seeking sustainable approaches to health and wellness improvement. As I prepared for the annual Martinez family Christmas gathering, I decided that this would be an appropriate time to share details about the wellness application project with family members and seek their perspectives on the potential for pursuing this concept as a serious business opportunity rather than continuing to treat it as a personal hobby that supplemented my primary career at Nexus Digital Solutions. The decision to discuss entrepreneurial possibilities with family members felt both exciting and anxious, as I anticipated their responses would range from encouragement to concern about abandoning the security and success I had achieved through conventional career advancement. However, I believed that sharing the project details and demonstrating the functional prototype would help them understand the genuine potential I saw in the wellness technology concept and the personal fulfillment I derived from working on solutions that could directly benefit individual users. The Martinez family Christmas gathering of that year took place at my parents' home in the established neighborhood where I had grown up, a modest but well-maintained house that reflected decades of careful financial management and pride in homeownership. The familiar surroundings provided comfort and continuity that made family celebrations feel like returns to the foundation of shared values and mutual support that had guided all of our individual achievements. The dining room table had been extended with additional leaves to accommodate the growing family that now included David's wife Rebecca and their 2 young children, along with Carmen's fiancé Miguel, who was experiencing his first Martinez family Christmas celebration. The traditional decorations that my mother had collected over the years created an atmosphere of warmth and festivity that encouraged relaxed conversation and genuine connection among family members who maintained busy professional schedules throughout the year. My father's pride in hosting these gatherings was evident in his careful attention to details that would ensure everyone felt welcomed and comfortable. The dining room had been arranged to encourage conversation across the table, while the living room provided additional space for the children to play and for adults to continue discussions after the formal meal concluded. The preparation that went into these events reflected his deep appreciation for family unity and the opportunities these celebrations provided for strengthening relationships that sustained all of us through individual challenges and achievements. The meal itself featured traditional Mexican dishes that my mother prepared with recipes passed down through generations, combined with American holiday foods that reflected our family's cultural integration and adaptation to life in the United States. The combination of flavors and traditions created a unique celebration that honored our heritage while embracing the opportunities and experiences we had gained through education and professional success in Austin. Conversation during dinner naturally focused on professional updates and personal achievements that family members wanted to share with the broader group. David spoke enthusiastically about a major acquisition project he was leading at Sterling Industries, describing the complex financial analysis and strategic planning required to evaluate a potential manufacturing facility purchase that could expand company operations into new geographic markets. His presentation of the acquisition details demonstrated the sophisticated analytical capabilities and business acumen that had earned him recognition within Sterling Industries' corporate hierarchy. The financial modeling, market research, and risk assessment processes he described revealed the depth of preparation required for corporate investment decisions involving hundreds of millions of dollars and affecting thousands of employees across multiple facilities. Rebecca supplemented David's professional updates with news about their family life, including their eldest daughter's academic achievements in elementary school and their son's progress in youth soccer programs that provided both physical activity and social development opportunities. Her own career as a marketing manager at a regional healthcare system contributed to household financial stability, while allowing her to maintain professional engagement and advancement opportunities. Carmen shared updates about her teaching experiences in the Title I Elementary School, where she worked with students from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. Her stories about classroom innovations, student achievements, and community partnerships reflected the dedication and creativity she brought to her educational mission. The challenges and rewards of working in underserved communities provided perspective on the social impact that committed professionals could achieve through service-oriented careers. Miguel, as the newest addition to family gatherings, offered insights into his work as a civil engineer focusing on sustainable infrastructure development for municipal clients across Central Texas. His projects involved designing water management systems, transportation improvements, and environmental restoration initiatives that contributed to community resilience and quality of life improvements for residents in growing urban areas. My parents shared updates about their respective professional activities, with my father discussing the seasonal demands of tax preparation season and new business development opportunities within the Hispanic business community. My mother described her continuing education efforts to maintain nursing certifications while adapting to technological changes in healthcare delivery that required constant learning and skill development. The conversation created an atmosphere of mutual pride in individual accomplishments while reinforcing shared values regarding hard work, education, and community contribution that had characterized our family culture throughout my childhood and adolescence. Each family member's success represented validation of the sacrifices and strategic decisions that had enabled educational opportunities and career development beyond what my parents had experienced in their own childhood circumstances. As dinner concluded and the family moved to the living room for continued conversation and coffee service, I recognized that this would be an appropriate time to share details about the wellness application project that had occupied my evening and weekend hours for the past several months. The supportive family environment and genuine interest in professional updates created favorable conditions for explaining the technical concepts and business potential I saw in the project. I began by providing context about my growing interest in applying technology solutions to personal wellness challenges, explaining how my observations of fitness and health struggles among friends and colleagues had sparked curiosity about more effective approaches to behavioral change and habit formation. The technical capabilities I had developed through enterprise software development provided tools for creating sophisticated consumer applications that could address these challenges in novel ways. The initial family response was positive and encouraging, with questions about the technical architecture, target user demographics, and potential market opportunities that demonstrated genuine interest in understanding the project's scope and commercial viability. My father's business experience provided perspective on customer acquisition strategies and financial planning considerations that would be crucial for transforming a personal project into a sustainable business venture. My mother's healthcare background offered insights into the medical and wellness aspects of the application concept, including potential partnerships with healthcare providers and integration opportunities with existing wellness programs offered by hospitals and insurance companies. Her understanding of patient behavior patterns and motivation challenges provided valuable perspective on features that could enhance user engagement and long-term success rates. Carmen's experience working with diverse student populations suggested approaches for making the application accessible to users with varying levels of technology comfort and different cultural backgrounds regarding health and wellness practices. Her insights into motivation strategies and behavioral reinforcement techniques that proved effective in educational settings could be adapted for wellness applications targeting adult users. The conversation continued in this supportive direction for approximately 30 minutes, with family members offering constructive suggestions, asking thoughtful questions, and expressing enthusiasm for the potential impact the application could have on helping people achieve their health and wellness goals. The technical complexity of machine learning personalization seemed to impress rather than concern them, suggesting confidence in my capabilities to implement sophisticated solutions. However, the tone of the conversation shifted dramatically when I mentioned that I was considering the possibility of leaving my position at Nexus Digital Solutions to pursue the wellness application as a full-time entrepreneurial venture. The suggestion that I might abandon the security and success of my established career to chase what they perceived as an uncertain business opportunity triggered immediate concern and vocal opposition, particularly from David. His response was swift and unequivocal. "Elena, that would be completely insane," he stated, with the authority that came from his corporate finance background and MBA education. "You have an incredible job with excellent benefits, clear advancement opportunities, and financial security that most people would kill for. Why would you throw all of that away to work on some app that might never make any money?" Quote. The dismissive tone he used when referring to some app felt like a physical blow, reducing months of dedicated technical development and careful market research to a trivial hobby that demonstrated poor judgment and unrealistic expectations. His characterization of the project ignored the sophisticated technical architecture, innovative personalization features, and substantial market opportunity that I had just finished explaining in detail. Rebecca reinforced David's position by highlighting the financial risks associated with entrepreneurial ventures, particularly in the competitive technology sector, where failure rates were notoriously high and success required not only technical capabilities, but also business development skills, marketing expertise, and significant capital resources. Her marketing background provided credibility for her concerns about the challenges of user acquisition and brand building in crowded consumer application markets. "The wellness app market is completely saturated," Rebecca continued, her voice carrying the professional authority she had developed through her healthcare marketing experience. "There are hundreds of fitness and nutrition apps already available, most of them backed by companies with millions of dollars in development budgets and marketing resources. How could you possibly compete against established players with massive user bases and proven business models?" David's criticism intensified as he described the wellness application project as a complete waste of time and money that demonstrated poor understanding of market realities and business fundamentals. His corporate finance perspective emphasized the importance of predictable cash flows, established revenue models, and systematic risk management practices that were absent from entrepreneurial ventures in emerging technology markets. "You're talking about giving up a six-figure salary with comprehensive benefits to work on something that has maybe a 1% chance of generating any meaningful revenue," David continued, his voice rising with frustration at what he perceived as financial irresponsibility and poor strategic thinking. "Even if you somehow managed to build a successful application, the amount of time and money required would far exceed what you could earn by simply continuing your career advancement at Nexus Digital." The mathematical calculations he presented were technically accurate, but failed to account for non-financial factors such as personal fulfillment, creative satisfaction, and the potential for creating meaningful impact on users' lives that went beyond simple profit generation. His analysis reduced entrepreneurial decision-making to purely financial considerations, while ignoring the psychological and social benefits that could justify accepting higher financial risk in pursuit of more meaningful work. My father's response reflected his own entrepreneurial experience but emphasized caution regarding the timing and preparation required for successful business ventures. Elena, building a business requires much more than technical skills, he explained with the wisdom gained through decades of operating his own accounting practice. You need customers, marketing strategies, financial management capabilities, and the ability to sustain yourself through the inevitable difficult periods when revenue is unpredictable. His concerns were practical rather than dismissive, focusing on the preparation and planning that would be necessary to maximize the probability of entrepreneurial success, rather than simply pursuing immediate gratification of creative interests. The contrast between his measured caution and David's outright dismissal highlighted different approaches to risk evaluation and business development planning. My mother's perspective emphasized the importance of maintaining financial security while pursuing entrepreneurial interests, suggesting that I could continue developing the wellness application during evening and weekend hours, while retaining the stability of employment at Nexus Digital Solutions. Her healthcare background provided appreciation for innovation and improvement in patient care delivery, but her practical experience highlighted the challenges of balancing idealistic goals with financial reality. Carmen offered emotional support while acknowledging the validity of concerns raised by other family members about the risks associated with leaving established career advancement opportunities. Her experience in education provided perspective on the satisfaction that came from meaningful work, but also realistic understanding of the financial constraints that limited career options for professionals without substantial savings or alternative income sources. The family discussion continued for over an hour, with positions becoming increasingly entrenched and emotions escalating as fundamental differences in risk tolerance and career priorities became apparent. David's corporate finance background led him to emphasize stability, predictability, and systematic advancement within established organizational structures. His success within Sterling Industries reinforced his confidence in conventional career strategies and skepticism regarding entrepreneurial alternatives. My own arguments focused on the technical sophistication of the wellness application, the substantial market opportunity, and the personal fulfillment that came from working on projects that could directly benefit individual users, rather than optimizing business processes for corporate clients. The machine learning capabilities, user experience design innovations, and behavioral psychology integration represented genuine technological advancement that could create meaningful competitive advantages. However, my explanations of technical features and market differentiation strategies were consistently met with skepticism about implementation challenges, competitive responses, and the resources required to achieve sustainable market penetration. David's questions about customer acquisition costs, user retention rates, and monetization strategies revealed gaps in my business planning that weakened my arguments for pursuing the project as a full-time venture. The conversation concluded without resolution, leaving family relationships strained and my confidence in the entrepreneurial path significantly diminished. David's characterization of the wellness application as a waste of time echoed in my mind during the drive back to my condominium, casting doubt on months of development work and forcing reconsideration of plans that had seemed increasingly viable just hours earlier. The contrast between the supportive family environment I had expected and the harsh criticism I had encountered created emotional turmoil that extended far beyond simple disagreement about career strategies. The dismissive treatment of technical work I was passionate about felt like rejection of fundamental aspects of my identity and aspirations that went beyond professional considerations to encompass personal values and life purpose. Sleep that night was nearly impossible as I replayed the family conversation, alternating between anger at David's dismissive attitude and doubt about my own judgment regarding the commercial viability of the wellness application project. The technical capabilities I had developed seemed less impressive when measured against the business development challenges that Rebecca and David had highlighted with such apparent expertise and confidence. The following days brought continued internal conflict between maintaining the security of my established career, and pursuing the entrepreneurial possibilities that had generated such excitement during months of evening development work. The family criticism had planted seeds of doubt about my ability to accurately assess market opportunities and competitive challenges that could determine whether the wellness application represented genuine business potential or simply personal interest that lacked commercial viability. Financial calculations that had previously seemed manageable now appeared increasingly risky when considered against the backdrop of uncertain revenue generation and the competitive challenges that established players with substantial resources could present to new market entrants. The security of my Nexus Digital position offered not only financial stability, but also professional identity and social status that would be difficult to replace if entrepreneurial ventures failed to generate expected outcomes. Yet the passion and engagement I felt during application development sessions contrasted sharply with the routine satisfaction of enterprise software consulting, suggesting that long-term career fulfillment might require accepting higher financial risk in pursuit of work that aligned more closely with personal interests and values. The question became whether family skepticism reflected superior business judgment or simply conventional thinking that underestimated innovation potential and market opportunity. The weeks following the Christmas gathering brought alternating periods of determination to prove family doubts wrong, and consideration of whether their concerns reflected wisdom I had failed to appreciate during months of focused technical development. The emotional investment in the wellness application project made objective evaluation increasingly difficult as personal pride became entangled with business assessment and strategic planning. Professional responsibilities at Nexus Digital continued normally, but my engagement with client projects felt increasingly perfunctory, as mental energy remained focused on the entrepreneurial questions that the family discussion had raised without resolving. The contrast between the intellectual challenge of machine learning algorithm development and the routine nature of enterprise software consulting became more apparent and motivationally significant. The beginning of the new year brought both reflection on the previous year's developments and anticipation of decisions that would need to be made regarding the direction of both my career and the wellness application project that had consumed increasing amounts of time and emotional energy. The family gathering had clarified the opposition I would face from those closest to me, while highlighting the isolation that entrepreneurial pursuit might require during the development and market entry phases. The weeks following the devastating family Christmas gathering established a pattern of internal warfare that defined the early months of the new year. Each morning brought renewed determination to prove my family wrong about the wellness application project, followed by gradual erosion of confidence as the practical challenges they had identified seemed to multiply with each passing day. The comfortable routine of my position at Nexus Digital Solutions provided temporary escape from entrepreneurial uncertainties. Yet the same security felt increasingly like a trap that prevented me from pursuing authentic passion and meaningful innovation. Professional responsibilities at Nexus Digital continued without obvious disruption to external observers, as I maintained the performance standards and collaborative relationships that had characterized my 4 years with the company. Client projects received appropriate attention and technical quality, while team meetings and strategic planning sessions proceeded normally despite my divided mental focus. The enterprise software development work that had previously provided intellectual satisfaction now felt mechanical and disconnected from any personal sense of purpose or contribution. However, beneath the surface of professional competence, my emotional and psychological state reflected profound uncertainty about identity, purpose, and direction that affected every aspect of daily life. The confidence that had sustained me through educational challenges and early career development had been fundamentally shaken by the harsh criticism from family members whose opinions carried weight due to their own professional achievements and demonstrated business acumen. David's characterization of the wellness application as a waste of time echoed continuously in my consciousness, undermining the technical pride and market optimism that had motivated months of dedicated development work. His corporate finance perspective carried authority that was difficult to dismiss, particularly given his successful track record within Sterling Industries and his MBA education from a prestigious business school that provided credibility for his business judgment and strategic analysis capabilities. The financial security arguments that multiple family members had emphasized created additional psychological pressure by highlighting the potential consequences of entrepreneurial failure. The mortgage payments, insurance costs, and living expenses that my Nexus Digital salary covered comfortably would become overwhelming burdens if the wellness application failed to generate revenue within a reasonable time frame. The emergency fund that had seemed adequate for entrepreneurial risk-taking appeared insufficient. When measured against the extended development timelines and uncertain market acceptance that characterized technology startup ventures, sleep patterns became increasingly disrupted as my mind cycled through endless variations of risk analysis and scenario planning that failed to produce clear resolution between conflicting priorities and competing values. The rational financial calculations consistently supported maintaining employment security while pursuing the application project as a secondary activity during evening and weekend hours. Yet the emotional satisfaction and creative engagement that development work provided suggested that part-time commitment would be insufficient for achieving the technical sophistication and market impact that could generate meaningful success. Exercise routines that had previously provided stress relief and mental clarity became additional sources of frustration as they highlighted the disconnection between my personal wellness practices and professional activities. The irony of maintaining physical fitness while working on enterprise software that optimized business processes rather than pursuing technology solutions that could help others achieve similar health improvements created cognitive dissonance that intensified rather than resolved through physical activity. Social interactions with colleagues and friends became strained as conversations about career satisfaction and future planning triggered internal conflict, rather than providing comfortable topics for relationship building. The enthusiasm for discussing technical challenges and market opportunities that had characterized my personality during the previous year was replaced by guarded responses and deflection techniques that protected against further criticism while creating social isolation. Dating relationships that had been challenging due to demanding work schedules became virtually impossible, as uncertainty about professional direction and financial security undermined the confidence and stability that potential partners sought in long-term relationships. The version of myself that had been attractive to others was fundamentally connected to career success and clear life trajectory that were no longer available for presentation or internal certainty. Professional networking events that had previously provided valuable connections and industry insights became uncomfortable reminders of the entrepreneurial path I was afraid to pursue, and the established career advancement I was no longer committed to maintaining. Conversations with technology professionals who had successfully launched their own companies generated both inspiration and frustration, as their experiences highlighted possibilities I was too paralyzed to attempt. The wellness application prototype that had seemed technically impressive and commercially viable during December development sessions appeared increasingly primitive when compared to established competitors whose resources and market presence had been highlighted during the family discussion. User interface features that had generated personal pride seemed amateurish when measured against applications developed by teams of professional designers and user experience specialists with substantial budgets and sophisticated development tools. Market research that had previously supported optimistic revenue projections now revealed competitive challenges and customer acquisition obstacles that seemed insurmountable for individual developers without significant financial backing or marketing expertise. The personalization features that I had considered innovative advantages appeared less unique when similar functionality was identified in applications produced by established wellness companies with proven business models and loyal user bases. Financial modeling attempts using spreadsheets and business planning software consistently produced scenarios that required longer development timelines, higher marketing expenditures, and greater financial reserves than I possessed for sustainable pursuit of full-time entrepreneurial activity. The gap between available resources and apparent requirements created psychological barriers that reinforced family arguments about the impracticality of leaving established employment for uncertain business ventures. Technical development work that had been energizing and creative during evening hours became laborious and doubt-filled as uncertainty about commercial viability undermined motivation for continued feature enhancement and algorithm refinement. The machine learning components that had shown promising personalization capabilities seemed less impressive when considered against the sophisticated artificial intelligence systems that established technology companies could deploy with virtually unlimited computational resources and data access. Customer validation research through informal discussions with friends and colleagues revealed mixed responses that failed to provide clear confirmation of market demand or willingness to pay for premium wellness application features. While many people expressed interest in personalized health recommendations and behavioral change support, their enthusiasm diminished when conversations turned to subscription pricing models or premium feature access that would be necessary for sustainable revenue generation. Professional development activities that might have enhanced entrepreneurial capabilities felt premature and potentially wasteful when the fundamental decision about pursuing the wellness application remained unresolved. Business education courses, marketing workshops, and entrepreneurship seminars required time and money investments that seemed inappropriate, while basic questions about commercial viability and personal commitment remained unanswered. The isolation created by uncertainty about professional direction was compounded by strained family relationships that had previously provided emotional support and practical guidance during challenging periods. Phone conversations with my parents became careful navigations around topics that might trigger renewed discussions about career stability and entrepreneurial risk-taking that had created tension during the Christmas gathering. Communication with David virtually ceased, as neither of us seemed willing to revisit the fundamental disagreement about professional priorities and business judgment that had created conflict during the family celebration. His confidence in his position appeared unshaken by any consideration that his dismissive attitude might have been premature or inadequately informed about the technical sophistication and market potential of the wellness application project. Carmen's teaching responsibilities and wedding planning activities limited her availability for discussions about career uncertainty, while her natural inclination to seek compromise and harmony made her uncomfortable with the fundamental conflicts that entrepreneurial pursuit would create within family relationships. Her emotional support was valuable, but could not address the practical questions about business viability and financial planning that dominated my decision-making process. Therapy sessions with a professional counselor became necessary, as the sustained uncertainty and family conflict created anxiety and depression symptoms that interfered with both professional performance and personal well-being. Dr. Jennifer Luo, a psychologist who specialized in career transitions and life change management, provided perspective on the psychological factors that complicated rational decision-making during periods of fundamental life transition. The therapeutic discussions revealed how deeply my sense of identity had become connected to external validation and approval from family members whose support had been crucial during educational and early career development. The criticism of the wellness application project felt like rejection of core aspects of my personality and aspirations that extended beyond simple disagreement about business strategy to encompass fundamental questions about self-worth and life purpose. Dr. Lu's analysis helped clarify how family dynamics and cultural expectations regarding financial security and professional stability created psychological barriers to entrepreneurial risk-taking that went beyond rational assessment of business opportunities and market conditions. The immigrant family experience that had shaped our values regarding education and career advancement emphasized predictable advancement through established institutions, rather than innovative risk-taking, that could potentially generate greater rewards but also involved substantial failure possibilities. The therapeutic process also illuminated how perfectionist tendencies that had contributed to academic and professional success became obstacles to entrepreneurial action that required tolerance for uncertainty, acceptance of iterative failure, and willingness to launch imperfect products that could be improved through market feedback and user experience data. The analytical approach that served enterprise software development effectively was poorly suited to the ambiguous and rapidly changing environment of consumer application markets. Group therapy sessions with other professionals facing similar career transition challenges provided additional perspective on the commonality of family conflict and financial anxiety that accompanied departures from conventional career paths. The stories shared by participants revealed that entrepreneurial pursuit often required temporary sacrifice of social support and external validation in favor of internal motivation and long-term vision that others might not understand or appreciate. However, the therapeutic insights and peer support, while emotionally helpful, could not resolve the fundamental business questions about market viability, competitive positioning, and revenue generation that would determine whether entrepreneurial pursuit represented wise strategic planning or impulsive abandonment of financial security. The psychological readiness for change needed to be accompanied by practical preparation that addressed the legitimate concerns raised by family members during the Christmas discussion. Financial planning consultations with professional advisors provided more realistic timelines and resource requirements for sustainable entrepreneurial pursuit than my initial optimistic calculations had suggested. The emergency fund that had seemed adequate for short-term business development would need to be supplemented by additional savings or alternative income sources to support extended development periods and uncertain revenue generation timelines that characterized technology startup ventures. The consultant recommendations included maintaining part-time employment relationships while pursuing entrepreneurial activities, seeking business partners who could provide complementary skills and shared financial responsibility, applying for small business loans or grants that could supplement personal savings, and developing minimum viable product versions that could generate early revenue while full functionality was still under development. These practical suggestions offered pathways for pursuing the wellness application project without requiring the immediate abandonment of employment security that had triggered such strong family opposition. The possibility of gradual transition rather than dramatic departure provided compromise approaches that might address both entrepreneurial aspirations and financial security concerns, while preserving family relationships that had been damaged by the previous discussions. Market analysis conducted through small business development resources revealed that the wellness application market, while competitive, continued to show strong growth trends and user willingness to pay for premium features that provided genuine value and measurable results. The key challenge was differentiation through unique functionality or superior user experience, rather than simply competing on price or basic feature availability with established market participants. The technical capabilities that I had developed through enterprise software work provided competitive advantages in areas such as data security, scalability planning, and integration with existing health monitoring systems that many consumer application developers lacked due to their focus on user interface design rather than back-end infrastructure sophistication. These technical strengths could potentially compensate for limitations in marketing expertise and brand recognition that represented significant disadvantages compared to established wellness companies. User experience research through online surveys and focus group discussions provided more encouraging feedback about the personalization features and behavioral change support that distinguished the wellness application concept from existing alternatives in the marketplace. While market entry would remain challenging, the unique value proposition appeared sufficiently compelling to warrant continued development and eventual commercial testing through limited release versions that could validate market demand before committing substantial additional resources. By March, the combination of therapeutic support, practical business planning, and market validation research had begun to restore confidence in the wellness application project, while addressing many of the concerns that family members had raised during the Christmas gathering. The path forward remained uncertain and financially risky, but appeared achievable through careful planning and gradual implementation rather than the dramatic departure from employment security that had triggered such strong opposition. The spring months brought an intensification of challenges that transformed theoretical concerns about entrepreneurial risk into daily confrontations with the harsh realities of building a technology business without adequate resources or institutional support. The optimism that had emerged from therapeutic sessions and business planning consultations gradually eroded as implementation attempts revealed the substantial gap between conceptual understanding and practical execution of market entry strategies for consumer wellness applications. The first major obstacle materialized when I attempted to transition from prototype development to production-ready software that could support actual user testing and feedback collection. The technical architecture that had seemed adequate for demonstrating core functionality proved insufficient for handling real-world data loads, security requirements, and scalability demands that commercial applications required. The enterprise software development experience that had provided confidence in my technical capabilities did not translate directly to consumer application requirements that emphasized user experience optimization, mobile device performance, and cloud infrastructure management. Database design decisions that had seemed reasonable during prototype development created performance bottlenecks when user simulation testing revealed the computational demands of machine learning algorithms operating on personalized datasets for hundreds of concurrent users. The recommendation engine that had generated impressive results with limited test data became sluggish and unreliable when scaled to realistic usage patterns that included complex user preference profiles and dynamic behavior tracking across multiple wellness categories. User interface elements that had appeared professionally designed during isolated development sessions revealed significant usability problems when tested by individuals who lacked technical expertise and approached the application with different expectations and workflow preferences than I had anticipated. The navigation patterns that seemed intuitive to someone familiar with the underlying technical architecture confused users who needed more explicit guidance and contextual information to understand available features and optimal usage strategies. Security implementation required expertise in encryption protocols, user authentication systems, and data privacy compliance that extended far beyond the enterprise software security measures I had previously implemented for internal corporate applications. The wellness application would be handling sensitive personal health information that required adherence to federal privacy regulations and industry security standards that demanded specialized knowledge and sophisticated technical infrastructure. Mobile application development introduced additional complexity layers that differed substantially from web-based enterprise software architecture. The optimization requirements for different mobile operating systems, screen sizes, and device capabilities created testing and debugging challenges that multiplied development time and required specialized tools and expertise that I had not previously needed for server-based business applications. The financial implications of addressing these technical challenges became apparent as I researched the costs associated with professional cloud hosting services, security compliance consulting, user experience design assistance, and mobile application testing across multiple device platforms. The budget projections that had seemed reasonable during initial planning phases proved inadequate for achieving the technical sophistication and reliability that commercial application users expected from established wellness technology providers. Marketing research conducted through small business development resources revealed customer acquisition costs that far exceeded my initial estimates and available budget allocations. The competitive wellness application marketplace required sustained advertising campaigns, influencer partnership programs, and content marketing strategies that demanded both financial investment and specialized expertise that I lacked. Organic user growth through word-of-mouth recommendations and social media sharing appeared insufficient for achieving the user base size necessary to generate meaningful revenue within reasonable timeframes. App Store approval processes for both iOS and Android platforms involved detailed review procedures that could result in rejection or delayed publication based on technical compliance issues, content policy violations, or user interface design standards that required careful attention to platform-specific guidelines and submission requirements. The possibility of investment months of development effort into an application that might be rejected for publication created additional risk factors that complicated business planning and timeline projections. Legal consultation regarding intellectual property protection, terms of service agreements, privacy policy compliance, and potential liability issues revealed costs and complexity that had not been adequately considered during initial business planning. The wellness recommendations and behavioral change guidance that the application would provide created potential liability exposure that required comprehensive legal protection and insurance coverage that represented significant ongoing expenses. Partnership opportunities with healthcare providers, fitness organizations, and wellness companies that might have provided user acquisition channels and credibility enhancement proved difficult to establish without demonstrated market traction and user base validation. Established organizations were reluctant to associate with unproven applications that lacked track records of user satisfaction and measurable health outcomes that could justify recommendation to their patients or members. The isolation of solo entrepreneurship became increasingly apparent as technical challenges, marketing obstacles, and business development requirements exceeded the capabilities and time availability of individual effort. The collaborative team environment at Nexus Digital Solutions provided specialized expertise, resource sharing, and mutual support that contrasted sharply with the solitary struggle of addressing multiple complex challenges simultaneously, without adequate knowledge or experience in critical business areas. Sleep deprivation became chronic as evening and weekend development sessions extended later into the night, while professional responsibilities at Nexus Digital continued to demand full attention and energy during regular business hours. The attempt to maintain employment performance while pursuing entrepreneurial development created unsustainable time pressures that affected both work quality and personal health management. Physical symptoms of stress, including headaches, digestive problems, and muscle tension, reflected the psychological pressure of attempting to balance competing demands while making little progress toward resolving fundamental business viability questions. Exercise routines that had previously provided stress relief became additional time pressures that created guilt when skipped but consumed energy that was needed for development work when maintained. Social relationships deteriorated further as friends and colleagues became uncomfortable with conversations dominated by business challenges and technical problems that seemed to have no clear solutions or reasonable timelines for resolution. The optimism and enthusiasm that had characterized my personality during successful career advancement was replaced by anxiety and preoccupation that made social interaction difficult and unsatisfying for everyone involved. Financial pressure intensified as development expenses consumed savings more rapidly than projected, while generating no offsetting revenue to replace the income that would be lost if I resigned from Nexus Digital to pursue full-time entrepreneurial work. The emergency fund that had seemed adequate for short-term business development was depleting toward levels that would require immediate income generation or return to employment seeking if entrepreneurial efforts failed to achieve commercial viability. Professional performance at Nexus Digital began to suffer as mental energy remained focused on wellness application challenges rather than client project requirements and team collaboration responsibilities. The decline in work quality and engagement was gradual but noticeable to colleagues and supervisors who had previously relied on consistent high performance and proactive contribution to project success. Client presentations and technical documentation that had previously demonstrated professional competence became perfunctory exercises that met minimum requirements without the analytical depth and creative problem-solving that had distinguished my work during the previous 4 years. The passion for technical excellence that had driven career advancement was increasingly directed toward personal projects that generated frustration rather than professional responsibilities that provided financial security. Team meetings and strategic planning sessions that had previously engaged my interest and generated valuable contributions became tedious obligations that interrupted development work on wellness application features that seemed perpetually incomplete and inadequately functional for user testing. The disconnect between professional responsibilities and personal interests created internal conflict that affected relationships with colleagues who depended on collaborative support and technical expertise. The performance review cycle that occurred in April provided formal documentation of declining engagement and contribution that had been apparent to supervisors and team members for several months. While my work continued to meet basic requirements and maintain technical competence, the initiative and leadership that had characterized previous evaluations were notably absent from recent project contributions and client interactions. Michael Rodriguez scheduled a private discussion to address concerns about my changed performance patterns and explore whether personal circumstances or professional dissatisfaction might be affecting work quality and team participation. His approach was supportive rather than disciplinary, reflecting appreciation for my previous contributions, while seeking to understand and address factors that might be preventing continued excellence and career advancement. The conversation required careful navigation between honesty about entrepreneurial interests and protection of employment security that remained necessary for financial survival, while wellness application development continued without clear commercial viability or timeline for revenue generation. The admission that personal projects were consuming mental energy that should be dedicated to client responsibilities would likely trigger performance improvement requirements or disciplinary actions that could jeopardize job security. However, the attempt to minimize concerns about declining performance while maintaining facade of commitment to continued employment felt increasingly dishonest and unsustainable, as the gap between stated priorities and actual interests became more apparent through daily work interactions and project contributions. The cognitive dissonance of presenting enthusiasm for enterprise software development while investing emotional energy in wellness application creation generated additional stress that complicated both professional relationships and personal decision-making. Family relationships remained strained following the Christmas confrontation, with limited communication and careful avoidance of topics related to career planning or entrepreneurial interests that might trigger renewed conflict about professional priorities and financial responsibility. The isolation created by family disapproval compounded the solitary nature of business development challenges that would have benefited from emotional support and practical guidance from people who understood my background and capabilities. David's continued confidence in his dismissive assessment of the wellness application project was reinforced by my obvious struggles with technical implementation and business development challenges that validated his predictions about the impracticality of leaving established employment for uncertain entrepreneurial ventures. The apparent confirmation of his business judgment strengthened his position within family discussions, while undermining my credibility regarding strategic planning and risk assessment capabilities. My parents expressed increasing concern about my mental health and life direction, as telephone conversations revealed anxiety and exhaustion that seemed disproportionate to normal professional challenges. Their questions about work satisfaction and future planning required evasive responses that protected against renewed criticism, while preventing access to family support that might have provided valuable perspective and encouragement during difficult development periods. Carmen's wedding planning activities consumed her attention and limited availability for discussions about career uncertainty that might have provided emotional support and alternative perspectives on entrepreneurial risk-taking and family relationship management. Her natural inclination toward compromise and harmony made her uncomfortable with the fundamental conflicts that entrepreneurial pursuit had created within family dynamics and professional relationships. Therapy sessions with Dr. Liu provided continued emotional support and stress management techniques but could not address the fundamental business challenges that were preventing progress toward commercial viability and sustainable revenue generation. The psychological readiness for entrepreneurial risk-taking that had developed through therapeutic work required practical business success to maintain motivation and confidence in the face of mounting obstacles and resource constraints. The May evaluation of overall progress revealed minimal advancement toward any of the key milestones that would indicate genuine business potential or justify continued investment of time and financial resources in wellness application development. Technical functionality remained inadequate for user testing, marketing strategies lacked implementation capabilities, and financial projections appeared increasingly unrealistic given actual development costs and competitive challenges. The accumulated evidence suggested that family members had been correct in their assessment of entrepreneurial impracticality and poor business judgment that had motivated their criticism during the Christmas gathering. The technical skills that had generated confidence in my ability to build successful applications proved insufficient for addressing the complex business development challenges that determined commercial success in competitive consumer markets. Professional colleagues who had initially expressed interest in wellness application development had stopped inquiring about progress, as my responses became increasingly vague and defensive regarding timelines and functionality status. The networking opportunities that might have provided business development assistance or partnership possibilities were compromised by my inability to demonstrate meaningful advancement or credible commercial potential. The cumulative effect of technical obstacles, financial pressure, professional performance decline, and social isolation created a crisis of confidence that questioned not only the viability of the wellness application project, but also my fundamental judgment regarding career direction and life priorities. The entrepreneurial path that had seemed compelling during initial development enthusiasm appeared to be leading toward failure that would damage both financial security and professional reputation without generating compensating benefits or meaningful progress toward personal goals. The turning point arrived not through dramatic revelation or external intervention, but through a quiet moment of exhausted clarity during a late-night development session in early June. After 16 months of attempting to prove my family wrong while simultaneously maintaining professional responsibilities and pursuing entrepreneurial goals without adequate resources or expertise, I found myself staring at lines of code that represented yet another failed attempt to resolve persistent technical challenges that seemed to multiply rather than diminish with each passing week. The wellness application prototype displayed on my laptop screen bore little resemblance to the sophisticated commercial product I had envisioned during the optimistic planning phases of the previous year. The user interface remained clunky and unintuitive despite countless revision attempts. The machine learning algorithms that were supposed to provide personalized recommendations continued to generate inconsistent results that would frustrate rather than assist actual users seeking meaningful health and wellness guidance. The financial spreadsheet open in a secondary window documented the stark reality of entrepreneurial economics that I had been reluctant to acknowledge during months of increasingly desperate development efforts. Personal savings that had taken years to accumulate through disciplined earning and investment had been systematically depleted to support development expenses that generated no corresponding revenue or meaningful progress toward commercial viability. The emergency fund that was supposed to provide security during entrepreneurial risk-taking had dwindled to levels that would support basic living expenses for perhaps 6 additional weeks before requiring immediate income generation or emergency employment seeking. The comfortable financial cushion that had made entrepreneurial exploration seem reasonable and sustainable had evaporated through underestimated development costs and over-optimistic timeline projections. Professional performance at Nexus Digital Solutions had deteriorated to levels that threatened employment security during a period when income replacement had become critically important for financial survival. The decline in work quality and team contribution that had been gradual and somewhat manageable during previous months had accelerated, as stress and exhaustion compounded the fundamental conflict between professional responsibilities and entrepreneurial obsessions. The performance improvement plan that Michael Rodriguez had implemented following our April discussion required demonstration of renewed engagement and technical excellence within specific timeframes and measurable criteria. The requirements were reasonable and achievable for someone committed to career advancement within enterprise software development, but felt overwhelming and irrelevant to someone whose mental energy remained focused on personal projects that generated frustration rather than professional responsibilities that provided financial stability. Social isolation had intensified as friends and colleagues became uncomfortable with interactions dominated by business challenges and technical problems that seemed to have no realistic solutions or reasonable timelines for resolution. The personality changes that accompanied chronic stress and sleep deprivation had transformed previously enjoyable social activities into additional sources of anxiety and self-consciousness that reinforced the tendency towards solitary struggle with mounting obstacles. Family relationships remained damaged by the Christmas confrontation and subsequent months of defensive communication that avoided topics related to career planning or entrepreneurial interests. The validation of David's skeptical assessment regarding business viability and market challenges had strengthened his position within family dynamics, while undermining my credibility regarding strategic planning and professional judgment. Physical health indicators reflected the cumulative impact of sustained stress, inadequate sleep, poor nutrition habits, and irregular exercise patterns that had characterized the previous months of entrepreneurial struggle. Chronic headaches, digestive problems, and persistent fatigue created additional obstacles to effective problem-solving and decision-making during periods when mental clarity was most needed for addressing complex technical and business challenges. The therapeutic support that Dr. Liu had provided during the initial phases of entrepreneurial exploration remained valuable for emotional processing and stress management, but could not address the fundamental business realities that determined whether continued pursuit of wellness application development represented wise persistence or stubborn denial of obvious failure indicators. The moment of recognition arrived when I acknowledged that the current approach to entrepreneurial pursuit was not only failing to achieve commercial objectives, but was actively destroying other aspects of life that provided meaning, security, and personal satisfaction. The obsessive focus on proving family critics wrong had prevented objective evaluation of business viability, while creating additional problems that compounded rather than solved the original career satisfaction concerns. The realization that entrepreneurial success required different strategies, resources, and capabilities than I currently possessed felt simultaneously devastating and liberating. The admission of current inadequacy represented failure of the specific approach I had been pursuing, but also created space for considering alternative pathways that might achieve entrepreneurial goals through more realistic and sustainable methods. The wellness application concept retained genuine merit and market potential that could justify continued development under different circumstances, with appropriate resources, expertise, and business development support. The technical innovations and personalization capabilities that I had developed represented valuable intellectual property that could contribute to successful commercial ventures when combined with adequate marketing strategies and financial backing. However, the solo entrepreneurship approach that had consumed months of effort and financial resources appeared fundamentally flawed for achieving commercial success in competitive consumer technology markets that required diverse expertise, substantial capital investment, and sustained marketing efforts that exceeded individual capabilities regardless of technical competence or personal dedication. The recognition that entrepreneurial goals might be better achieved through collaboration rather than individual effort represented a significant shift in thinking that opened possibilities for participation in business ventures without requiring complete abandonment of employment security or acceptance of unmanageable financial risk. Partnership opportunities, consulting arrangements, and gradual transition strategies could provide pathways for entrepreneurial involvement while maintaining income stability and professional development. The Austin technology ecosystem offered numerous opportunities for technical professionals to contribute to startup ventures through part-time consulting, equity-based collaboration, or advisory roles that provided entrepreneurial experience without requiring immediate departure from established employment. These alternative approaches could satisfy desires for innovation and meaningful work, while addressing legitimate family concerns about financial security and career stability. Professional networking events and technology meetups that I had avoided during months of solitary development struggle represented potential sources of collaboration opportunities and business partnerships that could provide access to complementary skills, shared resources, and collective expertise needed for successful commercial application development. The recognition that my current struggles represented learning experiences rather than permanent failures created psychological space for viewing entrepreneurial challenges as temporary obstacles that could be addressed through different strategies rather than evidence of fundamental inadequacy or poor business judgment that justified abandoning innovation goals entirely. The technical skills and market insights that I had developed through months of wellness application work retained value that could contribute to future business ventures, even if the current solo development approach proved unsuccessful. The experience of attempting entrepreneurial development had provided education about business realities and personal capabilities that would inform better decision-making regarding future innovation opportunities. The acceptance that my family's concerns about financial risk and market challenges had been legitimate rather than simply pessimistic criticism created opportunities for repairing relationships that had been damaged by defensive responses and stubborn pursuit of approaches that appeared increasingly unrealistic with accumulated evidence and experience. David's dismissive characterization of the wellness application as a waste of time had been accurate regarding the specific solo development approach I had been pursuing, but did not necessarily apply to the underlying concept or alternative implementation strategies that could achieve similar goals through different methods with better resources and collaborative support. The decision to temporarily suspend solo development efforts while exploring alternative pathways for entrepreneurial involvement felt like both defeat and strategic retreat that preserved options for future advancement rather than complete abandonment of innovation goals. The cessation of current activities created immediate relief from unsustainable time pressures and financial drain, while enabling focus on professional responsibilities that required attention for employment security. The conversation with Michael Rodriguez regarding renewed commitment to Nexus digital responsibilities required honesty about factors that had affected recent performance, while requesting opportunity to demonstrate restored engagement and technical contribution. The explanation emphasized temporary personal challenges rather than fundamental dissatisfaction with enterprise software development, creating framework for performance improvement without requiring admission of entrepreneurial interests that might threaten employment security. The discussion proved more supportive than anticipated, as Michael expressed appreciation for honest communication about performance factors, while offering flexibility and assistance for addressing challenges that had affected work quality and team collaboration. His own entrepreneurial interests and previous startup experience provided understanding of factors that motivated innovation pursuits, while emphasizing the importance of maintaining professional excellence during exploration of alternative career possibilities. The performance improvement plan was modified to provide additional support and mentoring while establishing realistic timelines for demonstrating renewed engagement and technical contribution. The adjusted expectations acknowledged recent challenges while providing clear framework for rebuilding professional reputation and advancement opportunities within Nexus Digital Solutions. Renewed focus on client projects and team responsibilities provided immediate relief from entrepreneurial pressure while generating satisfaction from successful completion of technical challenges that offered clear solutions and measurable progress. The contrast between enterprise software development that produced functional results within predictable timeframes and solo application development that generated endless obstacles highlighted the value of collaborative work environments and established business processes. Professional relationships with colleagues improved rapidly as restored attention to team contribution and client service replaced the distracted and defensive communication patterns that had characterized recent months. The technical competence and collaborative attitude that had previously earned recognition and advancement opportunities remained accessible when mental energy was directed toward professional responsibilities rather than divided between competing priorities. The financial pressure that had created anxiety and panic during months of depleting savings was relieved through continued employment income that could replenish emergency funds while supporting normal living expenses without requiring dramatic lifestyle changes or emergency borrowing. The security provided by stable income created psychological space for objective evaluation of future opportunities, without the desperation that had compromised decision-making during recent months. Sleep patterns began to normalize as evening hours were no longer consumed by development work that generated frustration rather than progress. The restoration of adequate rest improved mental clarity and emotional stability, while reducing physical symptoms of stress that had accumulated during months of unsustainable work schedules and chronic anxiety about entrepreneurial outcomes. Exercise routines that had been abandoned due to time pressures and energy depletion were gradually restored as sources of stress relief and physical health maintenance. The return to regular fitness activities provided both immediate benefits for mental well-being and symbolic evidence of life balance restoration that had been missing during months of obsessive focus on business development challenges. Social relationships began to recover as conversations were no longer dominated by business problems and technical obstacles that had made interactions uncomfortable for friends and colleagues. The personality changes that had accompanied chronic stress and entrepreneurial fixation were reversible through improved sleep, reduced anxiety, and restored engagement with activities and relationships that provided satisfaction beyond professional achievement. Family communication improved as the suspension of solo development efforts removed sources of conflict and defensive communication while creating opportunities for honest discussion about lessons learned and alternative approaches to entrepreneurial goals that might address previous concerns about financial risk and market viability. The therapeutic work with drive. Liu evolved to focus on integration of entrepreneurial experience and professional development rather than crisis management and decision-making support. The perspective gained through months of business development struggle provided valuable self-knowledge regarding personal capabilities, risk tolerance, and optimal approaches to innovation goals that could inform future career planning and opportunity evaluation. The recognition that current failure did not eliminate future possibilities for entrepreneurial success created foundation for patience and strategic planning that could lead to better outcomes through improved preparation, adequate resources, and collaborative approaches that leveraged collective expertise rather than individual effort alone. The summer months following my strategic pivot brought a period of deliberate exploration that differed fundamentally from the frantic solo development efforts that had characterized the previous year. Instead of attempting to build a complete business solution through individual effort, I began investigating the diverse pathways through which technical professionals could contribute to innovative ventures, while maintaining employment security and building collaborative relationships within the Austin technology ecosystem. The initial research phase revealed that successful technology entrepreneurs rarely achieved commercial success through isolated individual effort, but rather through strategic networking, complementary skill partnerships, and gradual accumulation of resources and expertise that enabled sustainable business development. The mythology of solo founders creating revolutionary applications in their spare time, while occasionally accurate, represented exceptional cases rather than typical pathways to entrepreneurial achievement. Professional networking events that I had previously avoided due to uncertainty about my entrepreneurial status became valuable sources of information about collaboration opportunities, industry trends, and alternative approaches to innovation that could satisfy creative and impact goals without requiring abandonment of financial security. The Austin technology community proved welcoming to professionals seeking to expand their involvement in startup activities while maintaining primary employment relationships. The monthly Austin Technology Professionals Meetup provided exposure to diverse approaches for participating in entrepreneurial ventures through consulting arrangements, advisory roles, technical partnerships, and equity-based collaboration opportunities that allowed experienced professionals to contribute specialized expertise while sharing both risks and potential rewards with other team members who brought complementary business development capabilities. Conversations with successful entrepreneurs revealed common patterns regarding the importance of market validation, customer development, business model experimentation, and iterative product development that contrasted sharply with the perfectionist approach I had pursued during solo development efforts. The emphasis on rapid testing of minimum viable products and continuous adaptation based on user feedback suggested more efficient pathways to commercial success than attempting to create complete solutions before market engagement. The wellness technology sector remained an area of genuine interest and potential opportunity, but my perspective on optimal market entry strategies evolved through exposure to industry professionals who had successfully navigated the competitive landscape through focused solutions, strategic partnerships, and specialized market positioning, rather than comprehensive platforms that attempted to address all wellness categories simultaneously. Industry research conducted through technology publications, market analysis reports, and academic studies revealed specific opportunity areas within wellness technology that remained underserved or inadequately addressed by existing commercial solutions. The personalization capabilities that I had developed during solo application work aligned with emerging trends toward artificial intelligence integration and behavioral psychology applications that represented growing market segments with commercial potential. The recognition that my technical expertise could contribute value to existing business ventures, rather than requiring creation of entirely new companies, opened possibilities for meaningful innovation work, without the resource constraints and market development challenges that had prevented progress during solo entrepreneurship attempts. Established companies seeking to enhance their technology capabilities or explore new market opportunities often needed experienced software engineers who could contribute both technical skills and fresh perspectives on product development. Consulting opportunities became available through referrals from professional networking contacts who recognized the potential value of my enterprise software background, combined with consumer application development experience and wellness industry knowledge. These arrangements provided additional income sources while building business development skills and industry relationships that could support future entrepreneurial ventures under more favorable circumstances. The first significant consulting engagement involved working with Mindful Tech Solutions, a small but growing company that specialized in meditation and mindfulness applications for corporate wellness programs. The founders had built successful user acquisition and content development capabilities, but needed technical expertise for implementing advanced personalization features and scalability improvements that could support expansion into larger enterprise markets. The collaboration with Mindful Tech provided immediate validation of the value that my technical capabilities could contribute to wellness technology ventures, while demonstrating the advantages of working within established business frameworks rather than attempting to create infrastructure and market presence from scratch. The existing customer relationships, proven revenue models, and established operational processes created foundation for innovation work that could generate measurable impact within reasonable timeframes. The personalization algorithms that I had developed during solo application work proved directly applicable to Mindful Tech's requirements for customizing meditation recommendations based on user stress patterns, schedule constraints, and progress tracking data. The implementation of these features generated immediate user engagement improvements and customer satisfaction increases that translated into measurable business value for the company. The success of the initial consulting project led to expanded collaboration arrangements that included equity participation in exchange for continued technical contribution and product development leadership. This structure provided entrepreneurial involvement and potential financial rewards while maintaining income security through my primary employment at Nexus Digital Solutions and avoiding the resource constraints that had prevented progress during solo development efforts. The experience of contributing to a functioning business venture highlighted the importance of complementary skill partnerships for achieving commercial success in competitive technology markets. The founders of Mindful Tech brought marketing expertise, customer development capabilities, and business operations knowledge that were essential for translating technical innovations into sustainable revenue generation and market growth. Professional relationships within the Austin technology community expanded rapidly as successful collaboration with Mindful Tech generated credibility and visibility within wellness technology circles. Other entrepreneurs and established companies began approaching me with consulting opportunities and partnership proposals that leveraged the combination of enterprise software expertise and consumer wellness application experience that represented a valuable but relatively uncommon skill set. The financial benefits of consulting work enabled replenishment of personal savings that had been depleted during solo development efforts while providing discretionary income for continued education, professional development, and investment in technology tools and resources that enhanced my capability to contribute value to client projects and collaborative ventures. Time management between primary employment responsibilities and consulting activities required careful attention to professional obligations and conflict of interest considerations, but proved manageable through evening and weekend work that felt energizing rather than exhausting, due to the meaningful progress and positive feedback that characterized successful client projects. The performance improvement plan at Nexus Digital Solutions concluded successfully as renewed focus on professional responsibilities generated recognition for technical excellence and team contribution that restored confidence in my career advancement prospects within enterprise software development. The improved work performance created opportunities for increased responsibility and project leadership that enhanced my professional reputation while maintaining employment security. However, the contrast between the satisfaction derived from innovative wellness technology work and the routine nature of enterprise software consulting became increasingly apparent as consulting projects provided creative challenges and meaningful impact that were largely absent from corporate client services. The financial security and professional development opportunities at Nexus Digital remained valuable, but no longer felt sufficient for long-term career fulfillment. Family relationships began to improve as the cessation of solo development efforts and restoration of employment performance addressed many of the concerns that had generated conflict during the previous year. The success of consulting work provided evidence of business judgment and market awareness that partially vindicated entrepreneurial interests, while demonstrating more realistic approaches to innovation goals. Conversations with David evolved from defensive arguments about entrepreneurial viability to constructive discussions about business development strategies and market opportunities within technology sectors where I was developing expertise and credibility. His corporate finance background provided valuable perspective on business model evaluation and partnership structures that could inform decisions about future consulting arrangements and equity participation opportunities. My parents expressed relief and pride regarding the restoration of professional stability, while showing genuine interest in the wellness technology work that was generating additional income and industry recognition. Their previous concerns about financial risk and career security were addressed through demonstrated ability to pursue entrepreneurial interests without sacrificing employment stability or professional advancement opportunities. Carmen's wedding planning activities during the summer provided opportunities for positive family interaction, while her natural curiosity about technology applications for education and wellness created common ground for discussing innovation work in ways that strengthened, rather than strained, family relationships. The therapeutic work with Dr. Leo transitioned to focus on integration of entrepreneurial experience with professional development and strategic planning for future career advancement. The perspective gained through months of business development struggle and subsequent successful adaptation provided foundation for making informed decisions about balancing security with innovation goals through sustainable approaches that leveraged personal strengths while addressing previous limitations. Market analysis conducted through consulting work revealed emerging trends within wellness technology that suggested opportunities for developing specialized solutions or enhanced features that could serve underserved market segments or improve upon existing applications through superior personalization, user experience design, or integration capabilities. The artificial intelligence and machine learning applications that represented core technical strengths aligned with industry movement toward more sophisticated personalization and behavioral prediction capabilities that could differentiate wellness applications in increasingly competitive consumer markets. The enterprise software background provided advantages in areas such as data security, scalability planning, and business intelligence that many consumer application developers lacked. Educational opportunities became available through industry conferences, professional workshops, and online certification programs that could enhance business development skills while building knowledge in areas such as user experience design, digital marketing, and startup business operations that had been limiting factors during solo development efforts. The Austin technology ecosystem provided access to entrepreneurship education programs through organizations such as Capital Factory, Tech Ranch, and the University of Texas Austin Entrepreneur Center that offered structured learning opportunities, mentorship relationships, and networking access that could accelerate business development capabilities while providing community support for innovation activities. Investment opportunities within wellness technology ventures became accessible through angel investor groups and startup funding organizations that recognized the value of technical expertise combined with industry knowledge and successful consulting experience. These relationships provided insights into investor perspectives on market opportunities and business model requirements that informed strategic planning for potential future ventures. The combination of consulting success, restored professional performance, improved family relationships, and expanded industry knowledge created foundation for considering more ambitious entrepreneurial opportunities that could build upon accumulated experience while avoiding the resource constraints and isolation that had prevented progress during solo development attempts. By late summer, the wellness technology consulting work had generated sufficient credibility and financial success to justify consideration of formal business partnership opportunities with established companies seeking technical leadership for product development initiatives or market expansion projects that aligned with both personal interests and professional capabilities. The recognition that entrepreneurial success could be achieved through strategic collaboration rather than individual effort represented fundamental learning that transformed my approach to innovation goals while preserving financial security and professional relationships that had been damaged during previous pursuit of unrealistic solo development strategies. The pivotal encounter that would reshape my entire understanding of entrepreneurial strategy and market opportunity occurred during the September Austin Tech Summit, an annual conference that brought together established technology leaders, emerging entrepreneurs, and venture capital investors to discuss industry trends and collaboration opportunities. The event represented the culmination of months of strategic networking and professional development that had positioned me to recognize and capitalize on significant business prospects that might have been invisible during my previous period of isolated development struggle. The conference agenda featured presentations on artificial intelligence applications, digital health innovation, and enterprise technology integration that aligned perfectly with the expertise I had developed through enterprise software development and wellness technology consulting. The opportunity to engage with industry leaders and potential collaborators in a structured professional environment provided optimal conditions for meaningful relationship building and strategic discussion. The morning keynote presentation was delivered by Dr. Marcus Thompson, Chief Technology Officer of Vitality Systems, a rapidly growing healthcare technology company that specialized in population health management and preventative care optimization for large employer wellness programs. His presentation focused on the integration of artificial intelligence and behavioral psychology for creating personalized health interventions that could reduce healthcare costs while improving employee productivity and satisfaction. Dr. Thompson's description of current market challenges within corporate wellness technology immediately captured my attention due to the direct relevance to the personalization algorithms and behavioral change features that I had developed during wellness application work. The technical problems he outlined regarding user engagement, outcome measurement, and scalable customization represented precisely the areas where my enterprise software background and consumer application experience could contribute significant value. The presentation revealed that Vitality Systems was experiencing rapid growth in client acquisition but facing technical scalability challenges that limited their ability to serve larger enterprise customers who required sophisticated data integration, advanced analytics, and highly personalized user experiences. The company had built successful business development and customer relationship capabilities but needed enhanced technical architecture and innovative feature development to maintain competitive advantages in the expanding corporate wellness market. Following the keynote presentation, I approached Dr. Thompson during the networking break to introduce myself and discuss potential consulting opportunities that could address the technical challenges he had described. The conversation revealed immediate alignment between Vitality Systems' requirements and the specific expertise I had developed through enterprise software development and wellness technology consulting work. Dr. Thompson's background combined advanced degrees in computer science and behavioral psychology with extensive experience in healthcare technology development and business leadership. His perspective on market opportunities within corporate wellness technology reflected deep understanding of both technical possibilities and commercial requirements that had enabled Vitality Systems to achieve rapid growth while maintaining high customer satisfaction rates. The initial discussion focused on technical architecture requirements for handling enterprise-scale data processing while maintaining the personalization capabilities that differentiated Vitality Systems from competitors who offered generic wellness programs without meaningful customization or behavioral adaptation. The challenge involved creating scalable systems that could deliver individually tailored recommendations to thousands of users within large corporations, while integrating with existing human resources, information systems, and health benefit administration platforms. My experience with enterprise software scalability planning and machine learning algorithm optimization provided immediate credibility for addressing these technical challenges, while my consumer application development work demonstrated understanding of user experience design and engagement optimization that were crucial for achieving meaningful health behavior change outcomes. Dr. Thompson expressed genuine interest in exploring collaboration opportunities that could accelerate Vitality Systems' technical development, while providing professional growth opportunities for someone with my specific combination of enterprise software expertise and wellness technology experience. The preliminary discussion suggested potential for consulting arrangements that could evolve into more substantial partnership opportunities depending on project outcomes and mutual compatibility. The conversation expanded to include broader strategic considerations regarding market positioning, competitive differentiation, and expansion opportunities within corporate wellness technology that revealed Dr. Thompson's sophisticated understanding of business development and industry dynamics. His analysis of market trends and customer requirements provided valuable insights into commercial success factors that had been missing from my previous solo development efforts. The afternoon workshop sessions provided opportunities for continued discussion while attending presentations on user experience design, artificial intelligence applications, and business model innovation that offered additional perspective on successful approaches to technology commercialization. The collaborative learning environment enabled deeper exploration of technical concepts and business strategies that informed both immediate consulting opportunities and longer-term career planning considerations. Dr. Thompson's approach to business development emphasized systematic market research, customer validation, and iterative product improvement that contrasted sharply with the perfectionist development strategy I had pursued during solo application work. His experience building successful technology companies highlighted the importance of customer feedback integration, rapid prototype testing, and continuous adaptation based on market response, rather than attempting to create complete solutions before user engagement. The discussion of Vitality Systems' growth trajectory revealed how successful technology companies balanced innovation with operational efficiency while maintaining customer satisfaction and financial sustainability. The company had achieved profitability within 3 years of founding through focused market positioning and disciplined resource allocation that maximized return on investment while building foundation for continued expansion. The technical challenges that Vitality Systems faced represented opportunities for meaningful contribution to solutions that could directly impact employee health outcomes, while generating sustainable business value for corporate clients. The potential for creating measurable improvements in both individual wellness and organizational productivity provided the meaningful impact that had motivated my original interest in wellness technology development. The evening networking reception provided additional opportunities for discussion while meeting other Vitality Systems team members who offered perspective on company culture, technical requirements, and collaboration processes that would inform decisions about potential consulting arrangements. The team members demonstrated technical competence and professional enthusiasm that suggested a positive working environment for someone seeking to contribute specialized expertise to innovative projects. The conversation with Sarah Chen, Vitality Systems Director of Product Development, revealed specific technical requirements for enhancing the personalization engine that powered their wellness recommendations, while improving user interface design for enterprise customers who needed administrative dashboards and reporting capabilities that could demonstrate program effectiveness to corporate leadership. Sarah's background in user experience design and product management provided complementary perspective to Dr. Thompson's technical and business focus, while highlighting the collaborative approach that characterized successful project development at Vitality Systems. Her questions about my enterprise software experience and consumer application development work demonstrated appreciation for the value that diverse technical background could contribute to their current challenges. The discussion with Robert Martinez, Vitality Systems lead data scientist, focused on machine learning algorithm optimization and data analysis techniques that could improve prediction accuracy while maintaining system performance under enterprise-scale usage conditions. His technical expertise and collaborative approach suggested opportunities for meaningful professional development while contributing to innovative solutions that addressed real market needs. The cumulative effect of these conversations provided clear indication that Vitality Systems represented a genuine opportunity for substantial consulting work that could leverage my technical capabilities while providing exposure to successful business development practices and industry expertise that would enhance future entrepreneurial prospects. The alignment between company requirements and personal capabilities suggested potential for long-term collaboration that could satisfy both immediate financial needs and career advancement goals. The formal consulting proposal discussion that concluded the evening revealed Dr. Thompson's serious interest in establishing working relationship that could address immediate technical challenges while exploring longer-term partnership possibilities depending on project outcomes and mutual satisfaction with collaboration effectiveness. The proposed arrangement would provide substantial consulting income while maintaining flexibility for continued employment at Nexus Digital Solutions during initial project phases. The scope of work outlined during preliminary planning sessions encompassed personalization algorithm enhancement, enterprise system integration development, and user experience optimization that would require approximately 20 hours per week of dedicated effort over a 6-month initial period. The timeline and deliverable requirements appeared achievable within existing time availability while providing meaningful contribution to significant business objectives. The compensation structure proposed for the consulting arrangement reflected recognition of the specialized expertise required, while providing financial rewards that exceeded standard consulting rates due to the strategic importance of the technical improvements for Vitality Systems' continued growth and competitive positioning. The additional income would enable continued savings rebuilding while supporting professional development activities and potential future entrepreneurial ventures. The intellectual property and future collaboration terms suggested potential for equity participation or employment opportunities, depending on project success and business expansion requirements that could emerge as Vitality Systems' continued growth in corporate wellness markets. The possibility of transitioning from consulting to permanent involvement provided pathway for increased entrepreneurial participation, without requiring immediate abandonment of employment security. The drive home from the Austin Tech Summit provided opportunity for reflection on the significance of the encounter with Dr. Thompson and the potential implications for both immediate consulting opportunities and longer-term career development. The conversation had revealed possibilities that were both achievable within current capabilities and aligned with authentic interests in wellness technology innovation and meaningful impact creation. The contrast between the collaborative opportunity at Vitality Systems and the isolated struggle of solo development work highlighted the value of strategic networking and professional relationship building for identifying business prospects that leverage personal strengths while addressing market needs through established organizational frameworks. The recognition that entrepreneurial goals could be achieved through contribution to existing successful ventures, rather than creation of entirely new companies, represented fundamental shift in perspective that opened possibilities for meaningful innovation work without the resource constraints and market development challenges that had prevented progress during previous solo entrepreneurship attempts. The potential collaboration with Vitality Systems offered validation of technical capabilities while providing access to business development expertise, market knowledge, and organizational resources that could accelerate professional growth and industry credibility building. The opportunity represented optimal balance between entrepreneurial involvement and financial security that addressed previous family concerns while pursuing authentic interests in wellness technology innovation. The evening phone call with Dr. Thompson to discuss next steps and timeline expectations confirmed mutual interest in proceeding with formal consulting arrangement while establishing framework for project planning and deliverable definition that would begin within 2 weeks following completion of current Nexus Digital client commitments. the opportunity to contribute specialized expertise to significant business challenges while learning from experienced entrepreneurs and industry leaders, provided exactly the professional development and meaningful work engagement that had motivated original entrepreneurial interests. The pathway forward offered sustainable approach to innovation goals that could satisfy personal aspirations while maintaining professional security and family relationship stability. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.